Hey everybody, this is Arthur Shopper, the field director for MassResistance. We are the international pro-family group that makes the difference. I've been seeing in the news, especially on social media, that there was a gay cruise line that tried to dock in Turkey, and the nation of Turkey rejected them, refused to receive the gay cruise line. Then that same gay cruise ship tried to dock in Egypt, and Egypt told this cruise line to get out of their waters as well. Now, this is the first very simple statement that I would make. Every country should be doing that. The very notion of a gay cruise line is disgusting, it's abhorrent, it's deviant in the first place. Why would you allow an entire ship full of people who live false identities, engage in destructive behaviors, be allowed to have a cruise like this? It's disturbing, it's disgusting. I've spoken at length about how these behaviors are inherently destructive. They're born out of lies, trauma, and hurt. There shouldn't be entire cruise agencies that are profiting off of this, these deviant behaviors. Now, having said that, it's really important to point out the larger issue that has emerged, because you have a lot of so-called anti-woke or non-leftist commentators who are bashing Turkey and bashing Egypt and saying, look, this is homophobic, look at how awful these countries are, look at the contradictions in Muslim countries who are spurring on the West and spurring on all the Palestinian protests, but at the same time see how they treat so-called gay people, transgenders, etc. Let me make this really clear. I don't support the tyranny and the oppression that happens to all peoples in Egypt or Turkey. Muslim countries routinely violate natural law and natural right. They persecute not just minorities, but they persecute the truth itself. They reject the gospel, they reject Christian revelation, they reject the Judeo-Christian heritage, they reject, again, natural law, natural right, Western values, which make civilization possible. Just because these two countries have all kinds of horrific natural rights abuses happening in their countries, it doesn't mean that, it's okay, we should be tolerating homosexuality as well. This is a very important fight that a lot of pro-family activists are not willing to articulate properly. We can say yes to natural right. We can oppose killing people, throwing them off of buildings because of sexual deviancy and destructive behaviors. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we should acquiesce to the entire LGBT agenda, because countries, once in a while, they do the right things too. It is appropriate that Egypt and Turkey did not accept those gay cruise lines. More importantly, they're not the only country that's ever done this. The Cayman Islands, I think this was about 10 years ago, there was a gay cruise ship that wanted to take up port there in the Cayman Islands, and the public there, it's a majority Christian, very fervent, holy people there that live at the Cayman Islands. They rose up and they said, we're not accepting this ship either. And notice how you didn't see a lot of complaining in the media, and you didn't see a lot of conservatives who are like pro-gay or pro-trans or whatever. They didn't say anything about it either, because nobody wants to be labeled racist. But you see, you have to stand for truth across the board. When somebody takes an action to stop the spread of a perversion, we should support it. Doesn't matter which country is saying no. Again, back to the beginning, no country should be accepting gay cruise lines coming into their country or docking at their ports. And the host country should not be allowing these businesses in the first place. And having said that, it doesn't mean that we endorse or celebrate everything that's happening in Turkey or everything that's happening in Egypt. Christians are routinely persecuted, Jews are persecuted, moderate Muslims are routinely persecuted, if not outright killed, in these countries. So this is a delicate issue which pro-family groups need to do a better job of facing. And MassResistance, we're one of those few groups that has actually done that very well, because we stick to the truth. We're not interested in identity politics. We're not interested in forming weak coalitions with moderate groups who are okay with the gay stuff, just don't push it on the kids. You have to have a formal and complete stance against all normalization of perversion, perversity, pederasty, pedophilia. All of those perversities have to be rejected. So this is a contentious issue, but it's important to still stand for truth and say, hey, those two countries, they did one thing right, but there's a lot of other stuff that they still have to change too. It doesn't mean you endorse everything else that's happening in Egypt or Turkey. So if you want to have a better means an argument for standing up for truth, standing up to the LGBT agenda, restoring natural law and natural order in your country or in your community, visit our website, MassResistance.org, www.massresistance.org. Visit us, reach out to us, we'll speak to you, we'll help you organize to fight the good fight in your community.